Ladies and gentlemen, Damian Dolla is now on the trading block. I'm just gonna throw it out there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be talking about it all freaking summer. With one post article, Mark Berman on all the lot, and here we are. The first rumor of the season is Damian Lillard. The Knicks talked to Damian Lillard like there's not 29. It's gonna be 28 other teams involved, man. But without further ado, this is Dynamics Podcast. We're gonna talk about it. Let's get busy. Yo, this is Dynamics Podcast, Evil the Honey Star. Here we are, man. I just came from happy hour. I'm a little toasty a little bit, but I've been thinking about it all day. We kind of been talking about it a little bit. Damian Dollar is officially on the trading block, like I said, because somebody puts out an article, and of course everybody goes crazy. Even Stephen A. Smith gets a text, right, saying that, oh yeah, guess what? Like whatever. All these talking heads are always 99% incorrect until something happens, right? So let's just talk about it. Damian Lillard. What is the price of Damian Lillard for one? Well, for instance, we just go right to the source of everything, without any like cool graphics or nothing like that. Like as you do here in the Dynamics Podcast, we just pull up Basketball Reference and we look at it together, man. Before we do that, right? Let's check out Damian Dollar. See, it's cool. He's one of the best players in the NBA. This tells a story here. He's 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? So this is something that we have to think about also. He's finally hit 30. He's basically in the prime of his career. He's definitely going to be on the downside. Doesn't mean that he's not going to have maybe 3 straight years of the same output. He's still going to be a top tier player. But I'm saying, but he's going to be on the downgrade of his career. Shout out to Kemba Walker. You know what I'm saying? For every Kemba Walker, there's a Chris Paul. We'll talk about Chris Paul in a second. But 30 years old is something to worry about, man. But to go even further, we'll just go all the way. Well, let's look at his stats, okay? Of course, Damian Lillard. Last year, he put up 28. The year before, 30, 25, 26, 27. That's what he's going to give us. He's going to give us at about his season average, which is about 24.7. He's going to give you 6 assists, maybe even more. He's definitely going to give you 4 rebounds. That's what he's been doing his entire career, almost down from when he was a rookie. When he was only averaging, well, he always averaged a lot of minutes. That's the thing too. He's not necessarily an Iron Man, but he does play a lot of minutes, man. The recent history, he's had a couple injuries and stuff like that. I'm quite sure, with the culture and stuff like that, he could have probably played through a lot of that stuff. But it is what it is. Guys are not made of iron, man, so they're gonna get hurt sometimes. Field goal percentage always in close to the 50s, man. 48% for a high usage guard like him. That's pretty good. Getting into the 3-point percentage for his career, 37%, 39%. We all know that Damian Lillard is one of those guys that can literally pull up from half court, and it's just as good as if he pulled up straight up from the 3-point line. So on field goal percentage, 45%, about 45%, 43% for his career. That's about right for a guy that shoots as much as he does. 35 minutes a game. We're gonna want to get that down as he gets older, of course. You know what I'm saying? But as long as he's not like I'm showing any signs of fatigue or just wearing down physically, But that's where guys like Derrick Rose and stuff like that fills in, man. So, if you're gonna get Damian Lillard, this is what you have to really worry about. You really have to worry about the salary. So bear with me for a second because I never could find the salary whenever I'm looking through it like this, because the mobile site is way different than the actual website. But here's his current contract, right? So it's a big contract. Last year he only made 31, which is a bargain. But here he goes into his extension, right? 4-year extension he signed Saturday, July 6, 2019, right? It finally kicks in 43, 47, 50, 54. Okay, for those that are crying about that, he'll only be 34 years old at the time, man, because I didn't check his actual birth date, but right now he's 30. So therefore, 31, 32, 33, 34. So we're talking about 34 years old when this contract is up. 34 years old is old. You don't want to be paying a 34-year-old $54 million. But let's talk about Chris Paul, right? Chris Paul right now is turning down a $44 million a year contract. And everybody throughout all my chats, even the Nothing But Knicks chat, the other Twitter chat that I'm in, my WhatsApp chat, which you guys are a bunch of savages over there. And in I have an Instagram chat as well. Everybody was saying the same thing, that they would give Chris Paul $100 million over 3 years. A lot of people were saying, and not everybody, a lot of people were saying that. So if you're gonna give Chris Paul, who's like a dinosaur compared to Damian Lillard, if you're gonna give him $100 million contract for over the next 3 years, then you could take on Chris Paul. It's gonna be Damian Lillard's contract. Like I said, if you're gonna give Chris Paul $100 million over 3 years, you can make this trade for Damian Lillard. So here's the thing: what do the Knicks have? I don't have to do that. I don't have to put up the stats and whatever. Because if you're here, Die Hard Knicks podcast, if you Google Die Hard Knicks, Die Hard, if you Google Die Hard Knicks, you're gonna see me, right? So Die Hard Knicks podcast. If you're here, then that means you already know the deal. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to tell you that we have 2 draft picks, first round draft picks next year. I need to tell you that we have second round draft picks that are pretty high in the next draft. I don't need to tell you that we have all our draft picks the following year. I don't need to tell you that we got another Dallas pick for the following year as well. You know what I'm saying? So in the next 3 drafts, we're gonna have 5 number 1 draft picks. You know, countless second round draft picks. You know what I'm saying? And we know that we're able to maneuver in the draft because we did it last year. Leon Rose was wheeling and dealing like crazy, so we're able to get second round picks and things of that nature, man. So that's not even a problem. But just the simple fact that we can actually do it. Here's another stat: the Knicks roughly, give or take a couple technicalities, have between $55 and $60 million to spend in the offseason. You know, shout out to Evergreen for guys that follow MBK. Evergreen is a big member of the panel there, and me and him did like a podcast at the end of the game footage of the last playoff game, and we ran through the whole thing. We went through the whole rabbit hole. We came up with a team. So you know, if you go through the rabbit hole, you can come through your own plan as to get Damian Lillard. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I already mentioned the draft. And we have all these draft picks and whatever. We have the cap space. So without even throwing a player into the mix, we have the ability to absorb Damian Lillard's $43 million contract for next year right off the bat, and still have about $20 million left. You know, give or take a couple million. You know what I'm saying? Add another player to that. Say add like a Kevin Knox that's on the contract. Add like an Obi Toppin. I know guys like Obi Toppin, but we have to make a decision. We can't get a good player without giving up a good player. So we already have a power forward in Julius Randle, most improved player. You know what I'm saying? 25 or close to 25, 10 and 6, 7, whatever he averaged. You know what I'm saying? So we have a good player in Julius Randle. Is he a number 1 option? Of course not. That's why you go for Damian Lillard. So here's the thing. In Portland, he's kind of just sitting around doing this thing, going super hard over there. You know what I'm saying? And then he can't get past half of the Western Conference over there. Now, fast forward to the East. If the Knicks had Damian Lillard against Trae Young and these guys, we would have stand a better chance. You know, of course, just getting one player is not the end all for everything. We're not going to give all of our assets and not think about stacking the deck to keep everybody together. Shout out to Brooklyn. Look at what Brooklyn did. They went and got Kyrie Irving and Durant, and then they still ended up getting Harden, and they went and got all these other guys. They still got Joe Harris, and they picked up a whole bunch of other dudes too to help bolster their roster. You know, so getting one player just not end it there. You know what I'm saying? And there's no such thing as saying there's only one ball. There's like only one ball, you know, not enough shots to go around. Look at Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Look at the Lakers. Look at all these different teams that are out there. What do we want to talk about? The Bucks, Philly. All these guys have multiple ways to score. You know what I'm saying? It's not all about just give one guy the ball and just play defense. You know, stick like 4 Franklin Lakinas in there, and then have one scorer and tell you to go win a basketball game, and then think that's the answer. The answer is we need to be decisive, just like our players needed to be decisive in that first round series, which I'll get to in another podcast. I'm just not ready to do that yet. But you know, we need to get guys, you know, to stack the deck and actually, put something out there that's going to be formidable against the rest of the league. Look at Atlanta. They went and paid for all these guys in the offseason. Everybody was hurt. It all came together at the last minute. Now look at them. They look like a team that could possibly beat Philly. You know, the way that they're playing, because they're playing defense now. Dave McMillan took over as an interim coach. So, you know, took them to the end of the year to get together. You know what I'm saying? So that they actually have a formidable team. While our Knicks fans are saying that, no, we need to give Frank Ntilikina minutes and stuff like that. Other teams are not doing that. They're getting talent. So the Knicks have an opportunity right now. We have a unique opportunity with the money that we have and the draft picks that we have. Unprecedented. Nobody else in the league has the the combination of both, because we have, like I said, between 55 and 60 million, depending on what source you use. You know what I'm saying? And then we got like all these draft picks, five first round draft picks, excuse me, in the next 3 drafts. You know what I'm saying? So we could put a mix of those guys together, throw that into the pot, and hopefully do something to entice Portland to come over here. Now here's the question: would Portland do this? Would Portland trade Damian Lillard? The answer is absolutely yes. You know what I'm saying? Because they have a whole bunch of guys over there that are young, whatever, that they have to pay anyway. They already got CJ McCollum over there. CJ McCollum could be the point guard, because he really is a point guard. He's only playing shooting guard because Damian's there. And is Damian really a point guard? He's really a super scorer. He does everything, actually. Rebounds, passing, scoring. He does all that stuff, man. So CJ McCollum could slide right into that point guard spot, and there you go. They already have young guys over there. I could run through their roster as well. I guess I'll do that. But we'll just scroll up and just take a look at their roster. So, like, why would Portland do it? There's plenty of logical reasons why they would do it. Number one, getting draft picks would be nice. You know what I'm saying, to bolster their future. Getting a little bit under the cap would be nice to give a team like a city like Portland a little bit of breathing room. Because historically, if you look back, even as far as Rasheed Wallace and Zach Randolph and even Jermaine O'Neal, they end up getting rid of Jermaine O'Neal because they didn't want to pay him. They had all that talent over there, so they're just throwing away talent because they didn't want to pay guys over there. You know what I'm saying? Let's just take a look at Portland's roster really quick while I'm here. They have plenty of young guys on this team. They did end up traded what's that kid name? The kid to Portland, they traded him. Norman Powell's a guy that they gotta they could possibly use that cap space to sign. So that's their starting backcourt right there, McCollum and Powell. You know what I'm saying? So they already have a replacement for Lillard on the team already. You know what I'm saying? So if they trade the Knicks Damian Lillard, they still have CJ McCollum and Powell to play with. You know what I'm saying? So they got Covington. I'm not sure what his contract is. Gary Trent is the guy that they traded to Toronto. Carmelo Anthony's probably gone. Ennis Cantor's there. You got Nurkic is there. Derrick Jones Jr. Who else is here? What's the other kid? Anthony Simmons is really good. He's another guy that could slide up and maybe possibly play small forward for them. There's plenty of guys. And Anthony is only 21. Nasir Little's another guy that can get pushed up into the rotation. Some of these other guys here too. Rondé Hollis Jefferson, just a guy they picked up just before the playoffs or whatever. But they have plenty of guys to fill into that starting lineup to get better. So why would Portland do it? I just gave you plenty of answers right there, man. Draft picks that Portland could use, and the salary cap to pay certain guys to keep their roster there. And it's still probably going to be in the same boat where they'll be in the first round. They might even go into the second round because they're able to spread the wealth around with the salary relief that they have. So let's say they sign Norman Powell. They might have a little bit extra breathing room and draft picks and stuff like that to move and get another player possibly. So it makes their roster so much better. But this is not the diehard Portland Trailblazers podcast. This is the diehard Knicks podcast. So trading these draft picks, what are the Knicks doing with draft picks? We just finished finished the season as a 4th seed. Whether you think it was a reach or luck that we got there, that's up to you. That's up between you and your basketball god. My basketball god said that we belong there at the 4th seed. So with that 4th seed, we need to think about how do we maintain that or get better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going into next year, no matter what you say. Reggie Bullock, all these different guys. We're the 4th seed. You know what I'm saying? We have Reggie Bullock. Julius Randle. We're definitely going to bring back Rose. Go down the line. Mitchell Robinson is going to be here still. RJ is going to be here still. A couple other guys too, man. So we have the ability to get better. Like I said, we have all this cap space and the draft picks. So getting Damian Lillard is a very good possibility, man. So let's say if we were to get a Damian Lillard, you're going to bring out there RJ. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you put RJ at the 2 or if you put RJ at the 3. You got Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? You got Mitchell Robinson. Right off the bat there, that's a great team, man. We will still have assets left over. Who do we put there at the shooting guard spot? That's up to our imagination. We got an entire whole offseason to think about, man. So I just want to put this thought into everyone's head. It is very possible, and it should be on the lips of every Knicks fan out there that we need to do what we got to do to get Damian Lillard. It takes two to tango. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing is we have to put it out there because everyone sees the internet. It might not necessarily be that player. Like Damian Lillard might not give a damn what we got to say, but his people are going to tell him. His agent is going to tell him. So we have that power to put that energy out there. That we will welcome him to the Mecca. 30 years old, he's in his prime right now. You know what I'm saying? This is not the same thing where a guy is past his prime, like a Chris Paul. You guys out there, I'm reading it all over Twitter, all over my private chats and stuff like that. You guys would pay Chris Paul $100 million over 3 years. A lot of you will. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you would think about it if you want to come here. You know what I'm saying? So if you're willing to do that, then why not bring Damian Lillard in here? And then these numbers with Chris Paul, they get up there in the 40s up to the 50s too. But now you're talking about a dude that's going to be close to 38, 39, 40 years old, paying $54 million. So would you pay CP3, for the mystique and however good you think he is? Damian Lillard is right in his prime. So you mean to tell me you'd rather pay CP3 at 40-something years old, $50 million, but you're not going to pay Damian Lillard 50 when he's like basically at the bottom of his prime, probably on his way to just kind of tapering off. Yeah, at the same time, you're talking about 4 years from now. If the Knicks give a couple draft picks, we'll still have some of our draft picks. We'll still have the future. Once Dame starts to get to that point, we'll be ready to flip it again. It's called fiscal responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I feel like the Knicks have a nice little window that we can put some things together and make something happen. Make something happen for us right now. We're the 4th seed this year. We earned it. It was a fun season. Next year, double down on that shit and say, listen, the Knicks are not here for one season. We're not going to all of a sudden trade Julius Randle and start drafting again and then start losing for the next 5 or 6 seasons because somebody wants to be sustainable over the long haul. Like you're supposed to know that. Like, this is cryptocurrency. Sports is like crypto. You put all your money into crypto because it's going up. Next thing you know, you wake up and it went down 1,000 points. You know what I'm saying? That's what sports is. You know what I'm saying? You put all your thing into one ideal. That doesn't mean it's going to work. It doesn't mean it's going to work. But at the same time, this little piece of time that we have now, we need to put our chips in this right now and ride this wave. RJ's not quite finished with his rookie deal. We need to build while he's here. Julius Randle is due for a payday soon. We need to take advantage of that because we don't have to pay him next year. We do not have to give him an extension. That's another thing too. Guys are willing to give guys extensions. How about build the team? It is not time to give guys extensions. Mitchell Robinson doesn't need an extension now. Julius Randle doesn't need an extension. Frank Ntilikina doesn't need a make good 4-year contract worth whatever $1 million that everyone is willing to give. $10 million a year just to keep Frank Ntilikina, and we still don't have any starters. But you're gonna pay somebody a feel good contract just because you think he has potential to do something. Come on, man. Our time is now. Well, if you weren't enjoying this whole ride that we had this year, there's something wrong with you, man. The next chapter in this ride of the Scott Perry, Leon Rose, World Wide West, or whoever else you want to add to this equation, Julius Randle era, the we here era. This is the we here era. So we are here, so we need to take advantage of this situation and do what we got to do to get better here. So I think right now on day, basically I'm gonna call this day 1 of the offseason, right? Damian Lillard is the guy. There's so much time to talk about other people. Shout out to LeBron James. I think is on a player option. Kawhi Leonard's also on a player option. So there's a lot of things, crazy things that can happen. But crazier things can happen unless you put your hat into the freaking put your number into the hat. You know what I'm saying? You gotta play the game. Like shout out to Brooklyn again. It's the last time I'm gonna mention it before I get out of here. Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie and Durant. Who would have thought they were gonna get Harden? You know what I'm saying? So you have to get Damian Lillard. Now you got Damian Lillard. Now it's like, oh snap! How the hell did we get that next guy? How did we get LeBron? How did we get Kawhi? How? You know what I'm saying? Because we went and got the other guy. Now everybody gets excited. Now the wave is whoosh in our favor. So that's my last thoughts to you guys before I get out of here. Of course, I'm gonna shout out to the chat one time because we had a couple comments. This is Joe So Sick. The Blazers need to rebuild off a big contract. And yes, they'll do it. Absolutely. I'm glad you agree with me, man, because here's the thing, too. The Blazers are not going to rebuild because they already have a replacement for Lillard with the guys that I mentioned. I got them on the screen right now. Do I need to make it big? I'll make it bigger for guys that didn't see. Norman Powell's already on the team right there. He is the replacement as shooting guard to slide McCollum over to the point guard spot. They already got a replacement on the roster. You know what I'm saying? To get the cap relief plus the draft picks to help them sustain themselves. You know, because they're not a team that likes to spend money. It's a no-brainer, man. Shout out to Big Taz. Big Taz is always here checking me out. I totally appreciate him, man. He's one of the few guys gets a notification and comes here to see what the hell I got to say. So anyway, Big Taz is here. He says the Knicks should reach out to. Yeah, they should reach out to Funk Flex. I think Dame has already been on Funk Flex though. You know, he already freestyled already, man. But it's the hip hop culture. It's the mecca of basketball. Also, the birthplace of hip hop. You know, not just the mecca of hip hop. You know, the birthplace of basketball is not New York. You know what I'm saying? It's wherever it is. You know what I'm saying? Wherever it was born. Or other cities tend to claim basketball, you know, and they have a right to do so because of the history. But hip hop is the birthplace of hip hop is New York. You know what I'm saying? So the whole street culture, the freestyle culture, backpacking culture, all that stuff is ours alone. You know, so Damian Lillard, if he wants to boost his rap career at 30 years old, going down to the end of his career, wants to put out something crazy, New York. You know, what better place to do than come to New York? You're not going to do it in Portland. You know what I'm saying? The buzz is not going to build as hard as it is in Portland. Even though Dame Dolla has been successful, I actually have. I bought 2 of his albums. I actually have a hat somewhere, a Dame Dolla hat that I was trying to find. I couldn't find, but I actually have some merchandise from Dame Dolla. I actually mess with him when it comes to his music. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. He knows that we're gonna mess with him. He's from Oakland, I believe. Oakland is basically the Brooklyn of the West. You know, it's time to come home, man. Time to come to the mecca of basketball and the birthplace of hip hop. Let's do it, man. Frederick, what up, Frederick? CP3 can be had in free agency versus Dame, who you need to trade answers. I think that's the biggest argument. It is the biggest argument. But my thing is, right, like I for me, it's a little biased because I'm not a fan of CP3. I think that he disrespects the game, in my opinion. And everything that you see with all the talking and stuff like that, everything that's outside of basketball, I think people have been watching him the last 10 years or so and are basically mimicking CP3. You know, CP3 is also on borrowed time. He should have been retired by now, you know, but for some reason, you know, God has blessed him with, you know, cybernetic knees or whatever's going on, and he's still able to play at this high level. Because, you know, Jason Kidd is another guy that comes to mind. But even Jason Kidd, when he won his championship in Dallas, he was already done. You know, he got to the Knicks and he tried to help us out. He did, but, you know, he just is old, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, signing Chris Paul at this stage of his career for the money that he wants is one thing. If CP3 will come here for $20 million, then I wouldn't even be talking about Damian Lillard. Then it's like, yo, just go get CP3 for $20 million because that'll be fair. You know what I'm saying? But he's talking about, you know, the potential. You know, not necessarily he's talking about the potential, and everyone's talking about that is basically going to be 2 to 3 year contract worth close to $100 million. Get out of here with that. You know what I'm saying? That's not what we need to do. You know, to put all the money in an old guy like that. Because if he gets hurt, then what? You know what I'm saying? At least you have Damian Lillard. You have age on your side. 30 years old. He's just hit the peak of his prime. You know, it's time to ride that wave, man, and make something happen, man. You know, to put all that much money, you know, a cap space on CP3, and then what you're gonna do? Keep your draft picks, and then you got this big expensive old guy to teach the young guys? Get off of that. That's what guys were talking about last summer. You know what I'm saying? Look what CP3 did. CP3 is not interested in coming here and becoming and being a Harvard student to be a Rhodes Scholar to our young guys. He's not in for that. He thinks he still could play. Obviously, he went to Phoenix. He just finished eliminating the world champion Lakers with LeBron and AD and all these guys. He took them out, so he thinks that he can still play. He can still play, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So why would he come here and say, hey, you know what? I have an opportunity to actually fight for a championship, but let me go to the Knicks and help them teach the young guys. Man, get off of that. Get off it. Not necessarily going after you, Frederick. Just speaking in general. Thank you for helping me out in these comments. No to S Damian. Okay, Hector Gasson. Thank you guys for tuning in here. Big Tass is laughing at me. He's always laughing at me. Tony Bell, Knicks got to ride the waves. We have to. We had a point now. Like I said, before we get out, I don't want to keep repeating myself. Julius Randle is not due for a contract. He can get an extension, but it makes no sense to extend the guy if there's no players here for him to play with, because you're going to get rid of your cap space. Why would you do that? Mitchell Robinson. Why do you need to extend Mitchell Robinson? We don't have a team around him. Why give up salary just to give a guy an extension? It doesn't make any sense. You only got $20 on you, and you buy a hot dog for $1. Say, hey, you know what? Let me give you $15. Just because I want your hot dog stand to get better. Man, get out of here. Just give me my hot dog. You know what I'm saying? I could use the rest of the money for something else. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mindset that we need to do. What's up, Nick? Nickas? Man, you're gonna make me say the wrong thing, man, Mr. May. Mitch is a bum. That's all that stuff is relative. A lot of guys are fans of certain players, but it's not really about that. Mitch Robinson's already under contract. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to go into the free agency looking for a center. We already have one. You know what I'm saying? So we need to focus on positions that we can build to help this team get better, and that's what it is, man. So anyway, this is your boy Eru. I'm at 27 minutes right now. Like I said, I don't want to get into like repeating myself and stuff like that. Like, CTA Frank, he's a guy from the Upper West Side. It's gonna be Upper East Side, excuse me, Spanish Harlem, and he's a Lakers fan for good reason though, because his dad was a Lakers fan. There's a whole big beautiful story, man. So we'll get into that conversation, for another day. But yeah, man, West Fourth is still here. What does Dame really fix though? I don't know what you need, what you want me to say. He's a go-to guy. Do the Knicks have a go-to guy? There you go. You know what I'm saying? Reggie Bullock, those are guys that we could sign for the minimum. Or another player like Reggie Bullock. What's the name? Burke. We got him for $6 million. Elfrid Payton, $5 million. You know what I'm saying? All these guys will throw away one year kind of guys. We could do that again. But things come together when you have that guy. Julius Randle, we already have. RJ, we already have. Those are 1-2. Add Damian Lillard to that. You know what I'm saying? Add another player some other kind of way via trade or with the rest of the money we have left. Make it happen. Then once we have the pieces at play, now you have the opportunity to lure other guys to come in for the low. And there you go. So anyway, like I said, I'm going down the rabbit hole. But this is your boy Eru, Knicks Podcast. Tune in for many more episodes, man. It's gonna be a long off season. A lot of things to talk about. I still haven't given you guys my personal reaction to the end of the season, but I'll get into that on Saturday. Look out for that. I'm more than likely gonna have a guest with me, so please check me out on Saturday, like around 8 and 9. 8 and 9 is Knicks Podcast time. Yeah, man. Shout out to all my guys with the NBK fam. Shout out to State of New York Knicks podcast. Shout out to Knicks Community podcast. Shout out to Knicks at Night TV. Their podcast that they do, man. These are all my affiliates, and we're just gonna keep getting busy, man. Knicks Nation, podcast world. You know what I'm saying? We got the mic, and we putting the content out there for you guys, man. Continue to support and tune in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. As I do. Put 4 fingers to the forehead, tucking the thumb salute. And I'll see you guys all off season. Peace.